Well, turning now to Wyoming, where COVID-19 has largely spared the least populated state with 37 total deaths since the pandemic began. But with visitors flocking to Wyoming's public lands this summer, there are concerns the state could see a rise in new cases. For more, I'm joined now by the governor of Wyoming, Mark Gordon. Welcome, and thank you for being with us, Governor Gordon. In fact, I was one of your tourists just a few months ago visiting your beautiful state. But how are you working to mitigate the spread from tourists, like me, coming into Wyoming?
Well, Amy, thanks very much for this opportunity. And let me just say thanks for coming to Wyoming as well. Our communities have really worked to stress how good it is for people to come to Wyoming. We're safe, we're open for business. We've asked our population to be respectful of those coming, and we try to do by example what we expect people to do, which is stay socially distanced. Not hard to do in Wyoming, lots of open space, and be respectful with wearing masks when possible.
Yeah, and I know that nearly all of the state schools have begun with in-person learning. How's that going, and are you concerned at all about a rise in cases?
Well, I think we're always concerned. We've been fortunate so far. We've really depended on the people of Wyoming to exercise good judgment and behave properly, and that's worked so far. We're always concerned about what might happen. We're opening schools now, and those kinds of things that could lead to a little bit of an uptick. But I think people in Wyoming have learned to live with this and are doing a much better job of really not trying to press the limits. We've had rodeos all summer. We haven't really seen the big upticks from those events.
Well, I know safety obviously is the biggest concern, but you do have financial concerns as well. In fact, you just announced that in the wake of this pandemic, your state has had to make some serious budget cuts totaling more than $250 million. You called it devastating but necessary. What impact has that had on your communities and your citizens?
We've been very fortunate over the last several years to build up a pretty sizable reserve account. And I think there is a desire to try to find an equilibrium of balance to begin to lower those costs. But what I have to say is that our ability to do so really has been accelerated by this COVID pandemic. And so I think our communities are going to feel it. They're going to feel it in their education system. They're going to feel it in the public sector, and they're going to feel it on the jobs market. But so far, we're doing pretty well.
All right. And Governor, I want to switch gears to the election. Wyoming's August 18th primary actually had a record turnout. Do you anticipate those types of numbers in November? And what are you doing to make sure that your constituents can vote safely?
Well, and thanks for that. Wyoming did have a record number of primary voters. And I think people in Wyoming feel this is one of the most important elections in history. And so they generally tend to show up for presidential elections. And this one is particularly important. The Trump administration has done a number of good things for states like ours, rural states. And so I think people are going to show up in droves. We've had a long experience with absentee voting, and so a large portion of our population feels comfortable with absentee voting. And our Secretary of State, who's in charge of elections, has done just a phenomenal job. So we had very few incidents this primary, and I don't think we'll see anything during the general. I think we'll just do what Wyoming does, vote, and vote sensibly.
That is good to hear. And as we're heading into the Labor Day weekend, I'm sure you heard Dr. Anthony Fauci's warning about how people are congregating. What is your message to people who live in Wyoming, people who are visiting Wyoming?
Well, it's the same message I've been delivering since this started. Enjoy our outdoors, stay healthy, keep socially distanced. If you can't be socially distanced, wear a mask, be respectful of one another. Remember, the mask is not just for your protection, it's also to protect those who are with you. And just enjoy and have a good time. Our state is open, and it's a beautiful state, as you know, so come enjoy.
One of my favorites. It is so beautiful to visit every time. Governor Gordon, thank you so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks very much, Amy.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.